Profiles of the Bearcats, another segment where we take you behind the scenes with some audio interviews of players and staff members of Bearcat Hoop 2017-18 and give you some question and answer segments that they did with Coach Kip, discussing their background, their histories, and where they see the season going. Enjoy. Today's 10 Minutes with a Bearcat brings you some time with Coach Nathan Covill, our second-year full-time assistant coach. He'll take you through some of his philosophies in coaching, some of the things he took from his upbringing, growing up with a father from the military, and also where to find him on social media. 10 Minutes with a Bearcat, Coach Nathan Covill.
Coach Covill, same thing from you. Background, life history, briefly, playing career, coaching career, elevator speech from you as well.
Coach Covill from Long Beach, California, born and raised. Then transplanted to live in Missoula, Montana for 9 years. Played at the University of Montana, moved back to Southern California, started coaching high school ball in Riverside, California. Moved to Central Oregon 9 years ago. Was a high school coach in Central Oregon at 2 different high schools, and now I am here at Willamette University. Just completed my first year as a college assistant coach. Elevator speech, I don't really have one. I would just say, kind of along the lines of Coach Willis, preparation. You know, if you want something to happen, you got to be prepared. You can't sit back and wait for things to happen.
Coach Covill, and you have a similar jumping moment. Not to say you didn't move the fam into the stadium, but obviously you were an established head basketball coach, had your own program, a wonderful wife, 2 daughters that will be in the WNBA someday if you don't mess them up. But tell us, you're a couple. You might have been before the Willamette experience, but what do you look back on you as your crossing the streams moment professionally?
Well, you know, if I was smart like Coach Willis, I would have done what I did 4 years ago. 15 years ago. Always wanted to coach college basketball, but didn't really have the understanding or the knowledge of how to get into that. At the time when I finished playing, they had Division I at University of Montana. They had gotten rid of graduate assistants, so that option for me was not available. And I'll be honest with you, I took a little time to get through school. So when that time came, when my career was done and what I was going to do, I just decided I wanted to complete my degree and then take things from there. And so I completed my degree in education, and I started coaching at high schools in town. And then it was time I'd met my wife, and she just got done playing, and she finished her degree on time. And so we were starting our teaching careers at the same time. We moved down to California. We both taught elementary education. In the back of my mind, I thought I was going to be in California for a few years, and then I would get an opportunity. But Southern California turned into me coaching at a pretty good high school, really prestigious, brand new high school, had immediate success. And I kind of fell in love with that and kind of put college coaching on the back burner just because I felt like I started a young family. I didn't feel like I'd do it. But in the back of my mind, I was always there. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I've done the high school thing for a while. I've been an assistant. I was trying to get head jobs. And in California, most of the time you need to be an instructor in the school, and I didn't have a secondary credential. So I went back, got my master's. That didn't help. Tried to pass a couple tests. That didn't work. Finally said, okay, what do I have to do to get a high school job teaching? And so I found out that there are always 3 jobs open in high school. So if you're a teacher or an aspiring high school coach and you want to get a teaching job, there are 3 jobs that are always open. There's math, there's special ed, and there is science. I'm not math or science, and I always think I'm a little special myself. So I got into the special ed, and then at that time, my wife, being from Spokane, wanted to kind of move to the Northwest. So we kind of said we're going to put all our eggs in a basket and move our family to Northwest, and ended up moving to Redmond, Oregon, a beautiful community in Central Oregon, just north of Bend. And I moved there, and it kind of immediately got hooked in with the high school programs there. Was a varsity men's assistant my first year. The next year, lucky enough, well, not lucky enough, but we went through a big crunch financially with our district. We went down to 4 school day weeks during the year, and some PE people lost jobs. And I was the benefactor of getting my first head coaching job with the women's program at a high school, and thought it would be a great opportunity for me to show what I was worth in that community.
Had you coached women at all before then, Coach?
I had done 1 year of women's in Montana, because at the time women's basketball in Montana was in the fall.
That's right.
And men's was in the winter.
Right.
So I talked to a few people who thought it would be a great opportunity opportunity for me to prove myself as a head coach, because what I ultimately moved to that community for was the brand new high school that they were building. And that was my ultimate goal. And then 3 years after doing coaching girls, I did get the head job at Ridgeview High School. But at that time, I kind of also started feeling like I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do, and that was coaching college basketball. And I thought being someone who was building a brand new program and a brand new school would kind of keep my juices going. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying to myself, is this really what I want to do? So running a program, the high school program, doing it effectively, and kind of still being in your own personal life, kind of understanding, am I doing? So my father was in the military for 30 years, and I think the things that I learned from him on a daily basis about being punctual, about being on time, about following through with your commitments, when you say you're going to do something, do it. Mm-hmm. Being loyal to the people you work for, the people who are involved in your organization. Those were the first things I always kind of carry with me. And then lastly, I think what Willis said is generally what has gotten me a lot of opportunities. And I think for me, I've been lucky because I've lived in a number of different places and know a lot of people from different walks of life. Mm-hmm. Growing up in Southern California, going to school in Long Beach, being a minority as a white person in a high school, having friends of all walks of life, whether it be Polynesian, Southeast Asian, Black, Latino. I knew people from a lot of different walks of life. And then moving from an urban environment where most of my friends were, people who lived in the city, who came from similarities mm-hmm. as I did, and then moving to Montana and having to learn, or not having to learn, but being afforded the luxury of learning a different culture. My best friend to this day, I played with, grew up on a 20,000 acre cattle ranch, and his family basically became my adopted family in Montana. And to this day, they're really close to me, and I value that relationship. So I would say, the military background in my family has taught me the rules about how to be professional. And I cross those boundaries a lot of times with things, mostly just jokes and storytelling. But I think that goes along with the military background too. But I think more importantly was my being blessed with knowing people from a lot of different walks of life. And then you say what Willis did. He connected the person with the fishing on the glasses. Yeah. I connect to people because I know where they're at, and I can immediately say, hey, do you know this person, or do you know this place, or have you? And Coach, I'm a food person. Yep. Yeah. So I always say connection. Hey, have you eaten at this place?
Everyone's got to eat.
There. So I think those are the things that I lean on a lot.
Yep.
Twitter and Instagram, and it's at Covill Nathan, COV as in Victor, ILL, Nathan, NATHAN. You can find a lot of the same things as Coach Willis is on, except you will find me posting at where I'm eating.
Yes.
So if you are on the West Coast, or if you have followed me and you know where I'm at, and I will put down where I'm at eating, and I will let you know if it's good or bad. But you'll see a lot of things just about what Coach Willis is about, what I'm about, what we're about as a staff. But just more importantly, you're going to see things, you're going to get to know us as a staff through what we post on our social media.